years of tripping on pop.
Be there! Scour the spaceways! Explore vast alien worlds!
This tin right here contains the whole rigmarole.
I used to smoke about an ounce of hash every day.
Good.
And it made me go a little bonkers.
Maybe if I occupy his mind with more duties, I can control his space.
Hi.
Big fat
Hi.
doobies.
Hi. Hi.
Hi, hello, welcome to the Hot Box. Day Saturday, June 27th, 2020, episode 205. I'm Matt. That's Grand. What's up, Grand?
What's going on, buddy? How you doing this week?
Good, man. Good to be back. Good to have you back. Happy birthday.
Absolutely.
To your boy.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yes, it is my son's birthday, 4th.
That's awesome. Hotbox Podcast, that's the website, hotbox.earth, also take you there. I want to mention before we get into things, we're almost at 200 subscribers on the YouTube channel, so if you guys check out the YouTube videos, if you don't catch the live show, maybe you want to see, if we were showing something off, or if you just want to look at our lovely faces while we're talking about weed stuff, you can definitely check out the YouTube channel there. If you go to hotbox.earth, there's links to it, because it's some crazy link that you would never
sometimes
remember.
We'll hold up
user /AE159er. it's crazy.
69 / backward
.php.
.com.
Gonna have another giveaway. We'll announce it sometime this week in the chat. But I think we kind of mentioned it last week. So we're gonna do the Imperial candy bottle, the Sour Gang, the one I've been using. I didn't even think to grab it. It's downstairs right now, but I've been using it, so she's a little dirty. But we'll get her cleaned up, and then we'll take a picture of it and post it up, and post what you all need to do. Probably some boosting stuff again, since that's kind of winding down, and then some other social kind of things, and of course the cookie entry. I know that's a crowd favorite here on the Dabs
The cookie
Discord.
entry. I think, what we should do is get the pictures and everything and put that out to our server boosters first in our VIP channel and give them an exclusive.
Ah, yeah. I mean, not that it's going to matter, because you're still just, it's the same amount of entries, whether or not you were there in the first 5 minutes or the last 5 minutes. But we could do something. I mean, obviously when boosters boost, we give them more than, it's not just one entry, right? Like the last time we did that, it was 5 entries. So definitely worth it. And it'll kick us back up into that third tier, so we get some better audio video quality for the shows and stuff.
Absolutely, and get our custom URL back. But we'll get that back as soon as we verify ourselves with Reddit and get ourselves partnered again.
Yeah, so keep an eye on that. Maybe we do something based on rank. Discord has a rank, I'm told. I haven't really checked it out, because, I don't really keep track of that kind of stuff. I'm just here to chat, help people,
So, yes, on the Discord, we do have a ranking system. We have a bot called Me6 that we call DabBot. And this bot not only helps us moderate and keeps our chat clean and helpful and plays music, it also
it
levels
literally
for everybody.
It keeps track of everything you all say. This bot is like Santa Claus. He makes a list, checks it twice, and then ranks you.
He knows who is naughty or nice.
He judges you, and then he ranks you accordingly.
So you get experience for each time you talk and chat after a certain amount of time. Obviously, you can't sit there and tap A, enter, A, enter, A, enter, A, enter, A, enter, A, enter. It
or can
takes
you?
A little bit of a cooldown.
Mm-hmm.
No, there is a little bit of a cooldown on it, so you cannot do that.
For sure.
I don't know the exact time. I'd have to look it up.
I think it's a cool application that we haven't really taken advantage of, for giveaways and stuff. And it's cool that it gamifies the chat and makes people want to chat if they're engaged with that in any way. But I think we could utilize it in some giveaways to kind of encourage more user participation and whatnot in the Discord chat. And if you're listening to this as just a podcast, this is podcast in the official Discord chat for the Dabs subreddit over there on reddit.com. So definitely check that out. Lots of cool posts popping up in there every day.
I do like that idea. And I think we definitely should implement something having to do with the ranks. However, there is one who has been at the top for so long. I don't even remember a time where he wasn't at the top.
Man, I didn't even write a speech. I feel so not prepared for this.
Oh no! You're second.
Oh, am I?
You still haven't surpassed. Yeah, you are second. I'm seventh. Let's just get that out of the way.
Okay,
I'm seventh. You're second. We get it. I
Like
slipped.
after 6, before 8, 7th.
After 5, after 6,
okay.
before 8. Yes,
Just
seven.
want to clarify.
SEVEN. But Ace of Spades is number 1, and he always has been. He is our reigning champion.
Did he code the bot we're using by any chance? Is he the bot coder? I was just curious.
Not to my knowledge.
Interesting. Rabbit
He
hole,
may
perhaps?
or may not have an affiliation with B6. I cannot confirm or deny that.
Interesting. I'll have to look into
He'll
that.
have to speak on that himself. I don't know.
That's pretty cool, though, that he has been, like, ever since I found the place, like, he's been right at the top there, so.
Oh, yeah. No, he has. Yeah, ever since I've been in, you'll have to ask Tooth or Urban. I think he really has been here since day one, and he's been top. He's always been active in the chat, always doing everything.
Eastern Dank in the chat says, Dabbot makes me take big dabs. Yeah, Dabbot's kind of aggressive sometimes. He's like, oh, that's all you're going to dab? What's the matter, pussy? Take that and double it. Double it now.
Yeah, he's a little
aggressive.
pushy sometimes. You know what? That actually brings up another thing that I want to ask all of our listeners, too.
Sure.
In the Dabbot, we have one kind of little advertisement that's left in it, and it's not even an advertisement. It just points us back to the subreddit, which is where we're from. We are the official Discord of the subreddit. So I want to know what you guys think of that. Is one response too many, or should we completely remove that? There are people in this Discord who don't know about the subreddit.
Yeah, and that's my argument, because it's now that we're doing this podcast through here, like, the link to the Discord is not just in the subreddit. Like, you can find it on the podcast website and, like, other stuff that we post that's not related to the subreddit. So there are people that find it. I definitely feel like more people find it from the subreddit than don't, right. But I don't know. It's just text. Like, I don't think it's that bad. It's not as bad as, like, throwing an ad to go buy something, I guess. It's just letting you know that, like, yo, there's a subreddit here. Like, check it out if you want. If not, whatever.
Which I can completely agree with the whole, our ad that we have during our smoke show to help us be able to smoke for a little bit, which that's kind of the reason why we do that, guys, a little behind the scenes, is it allows us to take a dab in peace. So, I mean, hey, that works, you know? But I do agree taking the Gary's Glass one, and I didn't put the SPOG in, but the Gary's Glass one out from the dab thing is a good thing to keep people actually wanting to do that. So it's not really like, hey, buy this, take a dab. You know what I mean? I don't want it to be that kind of community, and none of us do. We want it to be kind of that family vibe.
Yeah, I think we're there. A couple little tweaks here and there. I think it's all good.
You're never going to be perfect.
Yeah,
you always need to make tweaks.
Not with the kind of grammar you use. No, that will never be perfect.
Oh my God.
All right, so speaking of the subreddit and everything, this one came out of the R Cannabis Extract subreddit. I've seen it on Instagram off of the Blacklist site. I've seen it all over the place now. What could this be made of? And I know Tooth's not here, but you guys, you're following along in the doc. You can just click the link. But it's the blue Crumble. Some say it's just a sponge, like cut up pieces of blue sponge, which without smelling it, obviously, without dabbing it, like, it's really hard. I don't think I would dab that anyway. Like,
you wouldn't even like throw it in, little see how it melts or nothing.
I would do that.
I
would be curious to see how it melts, but I would first and foremost, I'm curious how it smells, because how it smells will kind of help you determine how it was made. So, a couple of the comments pointed to a terpene called azulene. Azulene is super blue. I think if you're in general, like a few days ago, I posted some pics up of when we made some azulene in our little wipe film machine just by accident. Like, it's a very vivid dark blue at certain amounts. If you thin it out, obviously it'll be a lighter blue. But the thing with azulene is it has the worst smell. And if you
what do you mean?
I mean, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, it is just...
some people would describe the worst smell as like cat piss. And
no,
some
it's
people
not.
in here would be like, that smells awesome.
Cat piss smells like ammonia. If it smelled like cat piss, I'd say it smelled like ammonia or cat piss. But those, like, this is... It's its own kind of putrid just smell. It's I don't even know.
Do you think it could hide in a dab? Like,
no.
Do you think somebody would smell it and go, "Oh, that's a different smell, man. That smells good," or do you think it would be like, "Whoa,
no"? I don't think there's anybody's endocannabinoid system hooked up to the nose that would smell that and be like, "Yeah, I give me some of that." I don't.
It's that bad.
I've smelled. It is so awful. It is the worst. I will. If we ever make any more, I'll get little samples made up, and I'll send you one. Because there's no cannabinoids in it. Is it illegal to send this? No,
like terpene or anything?
It's just a terpene. But
can I like pay you to make this, and we can actually do this for the stream?
You cannot pay me enough to make this. It's so gross. But so
I need this now. Can somebody look up a link on how to buy this? I need to buy this for the podcast.
I'm sure places sell Azulene. I mean, it's not like rare or anything, and it's super easy to make if you use certain clays before, like during your winterization process. Certain clays will have that as like not like a waste product, but just kind of a byproduct. Like you'll get this volatile Azulene terpene in your cold trap fraction. But so I don't think it's that, because they are selling this as dabs, and unless and I don't know for certain, maybe there's a way to remove the smell but keep the color of Azulene. I'm not sure if that's possible or not, but it just seems like a lot of trouble to go to make blue dabs when there's easier ways to do it. The other thing people were saying is that it's food coloring. I don't think it's food. I mean, it might be food coloring, but if you dab,
sounds like deadly.
Yeah, if you dab food coloring, like it's very carcinogenic. Like it's not anything you would want to dab, and it's definitely not anything you would go back for seconds and be like, yeah, give me more of that.
I was gonna say, like, you can douse that whole body in your mouth and be fine, but I don't know about vaporizing and combusting it.
Yeah, no, eating something is very different than combusting it or vaporizing it, bringing it up to those temperatures and then inhaling the fumes. You know, like one thing can be totally fine for you in one route of administration. The other thing, it could be like completely poisonous. It's the same thing. It's just a different way to get it in your body. But heating it obviously makes some changes to the molecules that could turn it into something poison. So the other thing I kept seeing is that it's a pH thing. And now, I don't know if you guys saw it. I posted a pic in the chat the other day of some purple distillate that a friend of mine made. And like, it's all just pH tricks. Like you can get a whole range of colors by messing with your pH. And one of those colors is blue. So that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. Obviously, nobody really knows except the people that made it. But I think it's a pH trick, and it's just something like, yo, Crumble's not selling very good right now. Oh, make it blue. And obviously you can do that with other forms. Like it doesn't just have to be Crumble. Like you can make any weed oil change colors. It's just
Deja Vu actually just posted something in the chat where it's blue diamonds. Like
yeah,
it's diamonds in like a blue sauce.
And all you would really do, because I feel like it's easiest to do with like a pretty liquidy form of extract. So I think you would want to mess with your pH when it's in that form, get it the color you want, and then you would mix it onto your diamonds, and then obviously it would soak in and give everything that tint. But one of those things is probably fine to dab, like the pH adjusted stuff, assuming after they got the color they wanted, they brought the pH back to a somewhat neutral level, and assuming that any acids, I guess, that they use to lower the pH in the first place have been like removed, and obviously neutralizing it will do that. But when you neutralize something that's acidic, you're adding yet another thing to the pot. So like at some point, you have to.
Acidic would change the color.
Yeah.
How? Like, can you like explain to me like I'm 5?
No.
Damn.
I don't think I could. But different pHs, I don't understand the exact chemistry behind it, but the different pHs will oxidize differently or at different rates, and I guess some of that gives you different colors. I don't know.
But yeah, like different elements in it will oxidize at different.
I think so.
Or something.
like Scupple says, discovered by mistake, then exploited seems plausible. I'm pretty sure that's exactly
my thought.
what happened. And then you have the obligatory Breaking Bad references and Walter White and people.
And then at that point, they have to.
And really, if you look at it like from a marketing standpoint, it's pretty fucking brilliant. Like they got people talking about it, regardless of if it's like a positive message or not. Like people are talking about it, and
we're talking about it.
We're talking about it. Fuck, they got us.
Fuck,
they got us. Damn it.
We're helping.
Damn it.
It is a cool thing though. Like it does scare me, but it does look really cool.
Yeah. So I don't know. I prefer to stick with the colors that occur naturally without having to force pH shift something by like putting some poison into it. And it's like, I mean, it's there's good science there, absolutely, but I don't know. This isn't anything I would want to dab on.
I have to read the first comment from Reddit.
Oh, it's probably pretty gold.
It's amazing. It goes, Girl Scout cookies X Florida Man bath salts, number 187.
Nice. That's a good cross. I think I saw that on the Worthless Genetics Instagram account. You ever follow that page at all?
No.
They post the best stuff. It's like just a blunt with like seeds and stems talking about how they're going in on this fat OG doink or something like that. It's so funny. Worthless Genetics. Look them up on Instagram.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah. So, and then there was an accompanying link to an Instagram account called Extracts Academy, which I thought was pretty interesting, and they kind of go into some of the science behind like how this stuff happens and everything. Thank you, Scupples. You guys can see it in the chat there. That's Worthless Genetics. Such a good account.
Worthless Genetics. Oh my god.
I don't know why this isn't loading. It's trying.
Oh, it's not loading for you? I'm looking
No,
at it
not
right
Worthless
now.
Genetics is. Yeah, Mad Halls for Days. That's so good. No, I'm trying to load the Extracts Academy Instagram page, but it like just keeps half loading. Oh, there we go. It only like refreshed itself 8 times, but here we go. So they say chlorophyll, carotenes, anthocyanin, and betalain are some of the well-known natural pigments responsible for the array of colors found in nature. There's been an ongoing trend to limit or reduce the quantity of these pigments in extracts to produce a final product with the lightest color possible. At some point, lighter colors started to mean better quality, which we all know that's not always the case. It can be a good indicator, but it's definitely not always the case. They say
Scuffles.
in recent years, yeah, that's a good account. Worthless Genetics, check that stuff out. They say in recent years, this growing trend has led to processors beginning to remove 100% of the pigments altogether. If you understand where the color comes from, then you can remove it, but you could also change it to whatever you want: red, pink, purple, green, yellow, orange, and even blue. So
did that man literally just shit on a fucking pan?
Yeah, that's the work slabs. If you're making edibles, like that's not, you could make edibles out of worse stuff, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know if it would be much worse, but I'm sure you could find a way. But yeah, if you're more interested in like the science and the extraction of side of things, like this is a pretty cool account to follow at Extracts Academy on the gram. So
you know what? That's a good note to give it a little break. And why don't you pack that bowl, Mr. Matt? What are you smoking on today?
Oh, I got some Sunday Driver, which I don't usually get, but I was running out of like different things to try there, so I was like, you know what?
Sunday Driver.
I'm gonna get some Sunday Driver, and it's
how's
actually
it treating you?
It's really good.
Yeah,
it's up there with like the mimosa for me, and the gelato was really good, and some purple Hindu Kush that I got a couple weeks ago, and then like
I'm not a big gelato fan.
Really? I like it. I like the Jack Harrers and the Dutch Treat strains. Like I like those lemony.
I love Jack Harrer. I just wasn't a fan of Fuck, I can't remember what it was anymore. Oh my god,
Gelato. Play
gelato. Yeah, for some reason. All right, let's hit this stuff, buddy.
Play the ad.
This episode of The Hot Box is brought to you by Gary's Glass Adventure. Go to garysglassadventure.com and check out his shop for any of your dabbing needs. Gary's Glass has quality German quartz and bangers of all sorts. They come in all sizes, 10, 14, and 18 millimeter. Also available are quality ruby pearls and rigs from a variety of artists. Again, that's garysglassadventure.com. Use promo code R/dabs710 to get 10% off your order. This episode is also brought to you by Sweet Piece of Glass. Spog is an amazing website with lots of great pieces and a large assortment of accessories from artists like Chappelle Glass, Unlimited Glass, and Glassmith. Quartz by Jake Miser and J Red Glass. There's almost nothing you can't find from Spog. Matt always takes care of his customers, and if you're in the Discord, he'll often give you a deal. So join the Discord and check out his shop to pick out your very own functional piece of art. He can be found at sweetpieceofglass.com and in the Discord.
Tell me that's just not a perfect amount of time for us to dab.
Oh yeah.
That's still dying.
I love
But
the
I'm
chat
golden over
right
here
now.
in Dabland.
The chat is just killing me right
What's going on? I'm not even looking at it right now.
We got
Me going to buy my weed in bulk, make 3 trips in 1 week.
No, scroll up the stem dog with the cigarette butt filter with
Oh my god.
That's the idyllic like worthless genetics post right there. Such a good account.
Stem dog. That's hilarious.
Just soak it in distilled. That's fine. I think they also had a post of vacuuming off your plants with a shop vac because these plants were like so webbed up from spider mites and shit.
What?
They just like took a shop vac and sucked off all the webs. Oh, that shit kills me. It's so good.
Dude, if I had spider mites at all, I'd consider my crop dead.
All right, we'll get through the rest of these Reddit posts, and then we had a question from the Discord. I thought this was kind of interesting, meme about how illegal states 20 a gram, and then it shows just like the poop soup, and then it says legal states 20 a gram, and it's just like this nice little diamonds and sauce. And I thought, like, if you get into the comments, it's just like the state of non-legal states is just so sad. Like $95 a gram, $120 a gram for stuff that like 3 imaginary borderlines over is like $25 a gram. It's so ridiculous. And
that's messed up.
Yeah. It doesn't really benefit anybody but like those big businesses that are just like raking it in when they can.
Yep. I don't understand how they sell it at that. That's like huge markups. I don't understand anybody can pay that or afford it.
I do find it interesting how like if you live in a non-legal state, but you're into that kind of stuff. So then you look online and then you find like all these dab communities and people doing these dab videos. And then you're like, I want to dab that. And then you come across, either a dispensary if you're medical state, that has it, but it's like super expensive, but you're like, everybody's dabbing on it. Like, but maybe they don't know. I assume people know now that like what we're dabbing on costs a very, very small fraction of what it could be where you're at. And to like just sit around and make dab videos all day, like it's not very expensive to do that here in Oregon, but if you live in like another state, you could be spending several $100s a day making a few dab videos. Like you just got to remain focused and know that like the likes, they're not everything. Like you don't need that $100 gram. I mean, unless you do, then, right on. You buy $100 grams?
I can't say I haven't.
Haven't?
Because I haven't.
Damn.
I have.
Of weed?
Well, it was actually for the Discord once. My dispo got in what they called Spaceballs, and this was some live rosin covered in it's like live rosin made into a ball, and inside the ball it was like hollowed out, and there was THCA rosin crystals inside of it.
But all
There was
those
a gram of it.
all those things you're saying are all weed. Like I would
Yes.
pay $100 a gram if it was like a rosin ball, and inside of it there was like DMT, and then sprinkled on the top was like some ketamine with like a little cocaine chip. You know, like then now you're talking. That's worth $100 for a gram. But like just weed, I don't know. I have a hard time breaking like a certain price point. Like I always have a price point in my mind that's like anything more than that, unless it's like a narcotic, is not worth it. Like just smoke weed. Like it's gonna be fine.
The opinions expressed in this Discord are those of the public individuals and not of the Discord as a whole.
No, they agree.
It was time.
What's that number? I'm curious what that number is for everybody. For me, it's $40. I will
For
not
what?
spend more than $40 on something that's weed.
Oh, okay. Well,
And like
to
not
be
talking
fair,
glass and stuff, but like the drug itself.
To be fair, I spent $50 and I only paid $25 of it because I split it half and half with my buddy.
I'm seeing no more than 30 a gram, 60. And see, I bet the difference between those two individuals, one of you live in a legal state and one of you
And
might
one of you
not,
doesn't.
right? Is that,
Yep.
am I right? I feel like I'm right. 50
I buy
to
rosin
60.
at 60.
60. I try to stay under 45. Like I say 40. I would do 50 if it was like amazing. Like I smelled it, I got to taste a little bit, and this was like the best stuff I've ever come across. Then I would do 50. But I absolutely, there's no way I would go over 50. And I would rarely do 50. Like this has to be, I always used to joke because I used to review weed for a website called Stuff Stoners Like, and they would always be like, well, how come you don't ever give anything a 10? Like that's the best. I'm like, well, I haven't tried all the weed yet, so I don't know what the best is. Like I can tell you what's a 3, and I can tell you what's like a 7 or an 8 and maybe a 9, but like until you've tried all of the weed, you can't
really
say
know.
what's the best. You got to leave a little buffer there because you might
I
get
don't think they're
surprised.
really ever. I mean, what is there a favorite strain of yours?
Can you ever truly try all of the weed? Because I feel
No.
like by the time you got caught up, there's constantly new crosses and strains and shit coming out. And I don't know if you could keep up with that like day to day.
Not even that. Lost genetics.
Worthless genetics. Some of that log jam OG, baby.
And you know what? I think this actually kind of. Are we done with the Reddit post? Do we have any more of those?
Yeah, no, that well, there was this one real quick we'll get to. It was just a cool like stoner engineering kind of thing. And I know a lot of cats in the Discord
this
like
is
to
cool.
mess with like building their own RIDs. What are they called? Those things that they build? The mods. There's like a name for them. RFDs.
Wiener suckers.
RDAs. Thank you. Deja vu. Wiener suckers. Shut up. RDA is what I was thinking. But I know a lot of these cats like to build their own. There was a dude in here the other day that went to like the most greatest length to get this thing he had to work in this other manner. And like he had it all completely modified, and a lot of people were kind of giving him shit that looked like a crack bulb. But it impressed me. I was like, that kind of drive to find something that you're either super bored or like you have a passion there. And this also kind of reminded me of it. I don't even really know what I'm looking at here. Maybe Vinter in the chat can kind of fill us in, because I know he builds a lot of these. To me, it looks like a little micro-sized Ghostbusters proton pack laying down there, and then there's like
that goes in the back, right?
an e-cig, and then what appears to be like the tip of a nectar collector wrapped up in a coil. Vinter says it's an induction heater around a titanium nectar collector.
The Reddit one.
Okay, because this nectar collector looks like a quartz tip one, but yeah.
Oh, they just put a fucking. So they're trying to get a nectar collector to work, pretty much.
Is that what the
That's what that is. It's a Nectar Collector with pretty much made into like it's a makeshift terp slurper.
Monjo Just Pawn is who posted, and they say smoothest hits I've ever had. Pulled out Nectar Collector, placed loaded tool into dead center, just pure vapor. The tiny bit of reclaim falls into the vial. Zero combustion. I'm very stoked. Been toking for 40 years and think this may be my new daily driver. That's pretty cool. Like to have been smoking for that long and then to just build something that actually works pretty good and doesn't like explode in your face like a lot of things.
How long have you been smoking, Matt?
Not that long, because I'm like gonna be 40 this year, so I've probably been smoking for like 25. So I started when I was like 14 or 15. So yeah, long time.
I know I'm just over a decade now, but I'm a little bit younger than you.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
I like all the posts that are like, potheads are lazy. Dirt, dirt, dirt. Like with the text that's like capital, lowercase, capital. You know what I mean.
Some potheads are lazy. Are you getting out my fucking grammar again, bitch? Fuck you. So, I have shitty grammar, okay? I didn't pay attention in high school. I smoked too much weed.
That's fine. Some of it just comes naturally to some of us. And I felt bad for the kids that always struggled.
I speak American, okay?
You know, like in class when they make everyone read like a paragraph and you always get to that kid that you know, like everyone knows they just like are the worst reader. And it's like you just want to go over there and read it for them because you can read. And it's like, I don't know. I always felt bad about that.
The duck might swim on the lake.
Eastern Dank says, that was me.
That was me.
I felt bad for you, bro. So you want to get into this question from the Discord? I assume that was you that posted this in the rundown.
Let's
or was
see.
That me?
Yes. It was one of us. I don't know.
Okay.
But it was somebody was talking about tea breaks. And I actually was thinking about it because I can't really take a tea break myself. I need to have some type of medication in me to not have my medical issues come back up, and that's what keeps me from like being able to do a normal life and everything again. So when is it time for a tea break for you guys? Is it just when like that initial high starts wearing off?
Well, let me ask for you, do the medical properties of your dose start to diminish? Like, or because usually when we talk about tea break, we're just like not getting high anymore. And that's like a rec thing. That's not a medical thing. Do you notice that you have to smoke more to just not be sick, or do you just have to smoke more to actually get high? Because I think that's where the difference is.
Yes. So absolutely. I haven't really not been like I've been completely fine ever since I started. So my dosing has been completely fine on that. I've kind of kept it down to a point that I can afford and kind of make it nice. But as a medical wise, I do not need to be high at all times. When I smoke, I'm not always smoking to be high. Like when I get up in the morning and take a dab, I'm not taking a dab to be ripped out of my mind. I'm taking a dab so I can wake up, start my day, and
like eat something. Maybe I dated a girl that had to smoke, otherwise she couldn't eat because she had really bad gut issues. And like it's kind of crazy to watch that transition from just being like, oh, I really just am pretty much just gonna lay down because, you know, my stomach hurts so bad, definitely not gonna eat, and then like taking like a few hits off a joint and then being like, all right, let's go eat. Let's get the day started. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
I think, like you said, that's the big difference between recreational and medical, though. Like, there's times, absolutely, when I'm going to come down and I'm going to take a half gram or a gram dab or some shit for you guys or some shit. Or
sometimes you just want to than I normally would sweat, to, you know?
Get a little toasty. I'm a pothead just like everybody else, but there are many times where I'm like, I need to take a dab and then I need to go and drive in a little bit and take my kids places. So I need to absolutely be in my right state of mind. I can't be high when I'm driving with my kids in the car.
But I mean, driving's easy. I'm just kidding. King Cord in the chat says, for me personally, I keep a selection of different concentrates. I smoke almost every 3 to 4 hours, and I measure out exactly how much I need. If I'm hanging out with friends or something and I smoke more than usual, I'll take a few more hours break until my next one or until I feel the need to hit it. Now, are you actually like weighing out your doses? You have like a little container that's like 0.1 or 0.025 or whatever your dose is? And then Eastern Dank says, small sativa dab to start the day and get my hunger going.
Yeah, I'm a
Hunger
big
Games.
fan of different strains and sativas and indicas, which that also comes to say, though, weed affects everybody differently. Some people, the sativas affect in a sativa way, and indicas affect in an indica way. Other people, they don't affect
it's
them
like
in any way at
backwards
all.
or- yeah.
Yeah, it's backwards, or they don't have any effect at all, and it's just all the exact same.
It's
So
like
if
ADD
your body
drugs.
does work that way, yes, if your body does work that way, it's beautiful because you have a guide pretty much on everything you need medically. If it doesn't, that sucks. You need to experiment with everything.
Yeah, because there is, I mean, if you have an endocannabinoid system in your body, if you're human, you probably do, like there's a strain out there. There's a terpene profile matched with a specific cannabinoid profile that like will work for you. It's just obviously a lot harder to do it depending on where you live. And even in like a legal state here, like Oregon, you can't necessarily always go for the same strain because different farms will grow shit differently, which will express different terpenes and cannabinoid ratios in that particular batch. Like it's
One person's
it's hard. Like
lights
once
might
you're
be
like,
different than another.
I like that one, and then you get it from a different store that was a different farm, and it gives you like the worst panic attack of your life. You're like, well, I'm never smoking that strain again. Like it might not have been the strain. It could have just been how it's growing, or it could have just, that could have not been what that weed was. Like sometimes people just name shit whatever. Like what's popular? Gelato.
Yeah.
Fucking name it all GMO. Fuck it. Like just sell that
or
shit.
they were told something wrong, or they mixed up something during growing. I mean, anything could happen.
Vinter says, whatever dab I have in hand to start the day and end the day, because ain't no strain selection. And that's a prime example of like being on the other side of that coin of like, we just dab whatever's available. Like it's not, here's a menu. It's either, yes, I have weed to sell, or no, I don't. There's no fucking menu of like, oh, I think I'd like a nice earthy indica to finish off my wine with. Like it's not like that in some places.
It would be nice. I mean, in legal states like where I am, I can go to the dispo and it's like that. The big dispos, like you walk in and it was like that at least. I'm not saying it is anymore, but it used to be a point where you go in and there's 300 different strains you could choose from.
Yeah. And a lot of those are probably the same strain, just different names. But look how full our shelves are.
One thing I can say as a grower is if you are given the correct thing, as from seed or clone, you will definitely notice a different in different strains and bud structure and the way they grow.
Yeah.
Like I grow a Northern Lights and it looks completely different than any other of my strains. It is just one of the most unique flowers I have.
That's pretty sweet. When I first got to Oregon, I found, I don't even know how I found it. I think it was through some Instagram account, but it was like this hippie kind of wook farm, and they were doing a terpene paired dinner smoke. So they had like, I think Geek Farms was there. He's like one of the more popular farms here, grows really amazing stuff. And like they went through strains and got the terpene profiles and then paired that with different foods and drinks and stuff. And like I had never seen anything like this before. I was gonna go there and like write about it for the magazine and shit. And like coming into like coming from Montana, which was like a medical state, but still nothing compared to like having these crazy like dinners where everybody's just having like weed on the table and there's like all these different like vaporizers and pipes and like papers, like however you want to smoke it and stuff. I really hope that one day we can actually like do some more stuff like that in like all of the states and people can actually get to experience that, because it is pretty cool. Like when the weed is picked for the food flavors in the weed, like it sounds super fucking pretentious, but it's a pretty crazy experience.
I feel like it might be a little pretentious, but at the same
No,
time,
it's super pretentious
there's
for
definitely
sure.
science behind all of that.
Yeah,
But there's
there
definitely
is.
science behind all. I mean, it's not something you need to live by, but if you have a chance to do it, it'd probably be pretty awesome.
It's a fun experience. I definitely wouldn't like want to live like that. I don't think I could do it. I'm not farm stock personally. Let's see. In the news, Venture posted this last week after the show, but I thought it was kind of interesting about how the Pentagon is trying to make CBD a criminal offense for the troops. And I mean, it's a federal thing, right? Weed is federally illegal still. So it's
isn't
not
CBD legal though?
I mean, is it?
Hemp is legal.
Yeah,
However, marijuana is illegal. But they define hemp as having a THC content lower than 3% or something like that.
Yeah.
Because you can buy flour you can buy flour from Wild Bill's CBD flour.
Yeah, I mean you can
CBD.
get it mailed and stuff, and like it's all legal and everything. So yeah, I guess I mean the Farm Bill's the one that did that, right?
I think so.
That allowed
yes.
like all the states to do it to actually like grow hemp and everything and set the percentage standards and everything.
And then there are the states that made it legal for THC pot, which is all the ones that are illegal and stuff like that. That's the illegal and legal states that we live in now, where everybody should be able to buy CBD flour. However, some of the illegal states might not do it because of standards and shit like that. You know, people going, oh, well, they have fucking weed there.
Yeah. And I mean, this is saying that the U.S. troops can be punished for using products that contain hemp or CBD. According to it, it says in February, acting under Security of Defense for Personnel and Readiness, Matthew Donovan directed the services to issue general orders or regulations by March 1st, prohibiting the use of products made from hemp under Article 92 of the Uniform Code of Military Justice. And I guess if you think about it, like when you sign up to like go serve, you pretty much like they're your, I don't want to say owner, but like they're kind of your owner at that point. So if they don't want you to smoke or drink or do anything, you kind of can't really say anything about it.
Dude, you sign over your life to the point where if you tell them no, you're going to be court-martialed and then pretty much dishonorably discharged, and you'll never be able to find like a good job. It's pretty much a felony because you said no.
It says troops have known since last year that most products containing CBD were off limits, with 2 of the 4 DoD services issuing guidance restricting use of any form of CBD, including in supplements, creams, ointments, and tinctures. But the new orders make use of hemp and CBD punitive across all DoD active duty and reserve component personnel, including Navy and the Marine Corps, whose members were allowed under the Department of the Navy to use topical products like shampoo, lotions, and creams. I wonder if it's just because it's like too hard. Yeah, like Venture's saying in the chat there, because they don't want to test for THC, CBD separately. So it's just that like that would be a pretty big bill to like switch over your testing because a bunch of your troops are like smoking CBD but not THC, but everyone's popping for fucking failed drug tests. Like I can understand
you wouldn't have to.
That still
wouldn't have to test for CBD and THC. You wouldn't have to test for CBD at all. All you have to do is test for THC. If they test positive for THC, gone.
Yeah, but I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that because the metabolites and shit. Like, don't they share a lot of the same metabolites that they would test for? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they can do it, whether or not they want to do it or want to go through the expense and hassle. Venture says full spectrum CBD will make you pop a drug test, but isolate shouldn't. I don't know. I definitely wouldn't want to like gamble my job / life on something like that, like on my body's metabolism. Like maybe my body's not metabolizing very well that day, and maybe it turns some of that shit into something that is going to make me fail a drug test. You don't know. You don't know what your body does. I don't.
Are you indicating that CBD could turn into THC?
I'm just saying I don't know what enzymes my body is fully capable of releasing.
That's a fair
And I don't
argument.
know.
Is anybody truly aware of what enzymes their bodies
I don't believe we are.
I don't think we are. Or what our body exactly does. Because last I checked, nobody has any idea what the fucking mind does. Besides, like, electricity and, like, connections and shit.
Yeah, we're just making connections and shit, and then shocking them.
That's the name of the episode, Connections and Shit.
Connections and shit. Says, quote, I specifically find a military necessity to require a prohibition of this scope to ensure the military drug testing program continues to be able to identify the use of marijuana, which is prohibited, and to spare the U.S. military the risks and adverse effects marijuana has on the mission readiness of individual service members and military units. That's
and what is alcohol?
Donovan. Well, like, how much harder is it to get your boys to just go in there and, like, kill some people if they're just smoking, if they just got done smoking a doob?
How much harder is it if they're fucking ass out drunk?
Well, there's a line there that when they're good and drunk, they'll just go in and do it just to do it. But like once you pass that point and get sick,
once you're nice and buzzed, you could just.
I don't think so.
I think so.
I think you're either just gonna chill.
If I was going in to kill somebody, I need a joint. I'm just saying.
I save it for after my after kill joint, never before. Gotta stay mission ready. There was a time I wouldn't even smoke before podcasts. Like, I'm definitely not smoking if I'm going in dark, fucking weapons hot. You know, there's no way.
I think that's like, I definitely would. I mean, but like, that's just who I am, though. I need to have something in me.
Well, and if you don't,
I would just be like, but if I'm smoking, I'm just like, let's go.
Yeah, right. Steady hand, Sue over there.
That'd be funny.
Just imagine your guys that have like IBS or something and they don't smoke before the mission and they're just giving away your position by their fucking stank.
Eastern tank goes to a 1 gram glob on a pile of enemies.
That's right. I used to do that in the video game Oblivion because you could like move bodies around and stuff. So I would like stack all
Oblivion
these fucking bodies and shit. It was so bad.
Just take a dab on top of them all.
Just hanging out here, just a vampire.
Nobody mind me.
It says the federal government removed hemp from its list of controlled substances under the Agriculture Improvement Act of 2018. By law, hemp that contains less than 0.3% THC is legal. So
that's what I was wrong.
Farm
the
bill.
0.3, not 3%.
Yeah, 0.3.
That's a very low amount of THC.
Yeah,
but that is completely negligible, I'd say.
Yeah, I hope they fix that. I feel like they are, but like I feel like in process and in growing, it should be able to be at least 5%, and then like leave it up to the facilities and the labs to. I just saw his. I'm sorry, I was distracted by the Discord here. He just posted from the game Oblivion. Is that your little elf with his little rating torch?
No, that is the
oh, man.
In the arena quest there is a fan, and that's the fan that follows you. The adoring follower.
Okay, that's amazing. But yeah, I think you should be able to like just grow it, because I feel like you can grow better product if you're not having to constantly like worry about if it's over 0.3%. Like, leave it at 5%. Let the labs worry about getting it down to the proper percentage before it goes out. You know,
even at 5%, that's extremely low.
Yeah,
that's like Reggie's from the.
Yeah,
you might as well be picking
floor
road
sweepings.
Weed, you know,
it's just floor trimmings.
Floor trimmings.
I mean, it's obviously it's better than nothing for sure. But I wish they would like put more legitimate thought into these things, not just like, oh, how can we fuck them at every possible flaming hoop that they jump through for it. You know, it's that shit's whack.
You know, we're fighting it every step of the way, but we're gaining things little by little. Prohibition will end one day. Hopefully, just we're alive.
I hope it ends before we get cracked by a big old asteroid or something. Like I would
so you're an asteroid man.
Well, that's just a matter of time.
That's just true.
And now it also
cannot
depends what angle the flat Earth is at the time
angle
of the asteroid, the angle of the flat Earth dangle, because flat Earth is very thin. So if it's like at this axis, the asteroid could just buzz right by us. I think we should be trying to learn how to control flat Earth like a flying saucer.
Control the angles of our dangles.
We should try to control those better. I thought this was kind of an interesting article talking about weed use, morals, and then gambling. Is one more moral than the other? Because I almost feel like gambling is probably the worst of the two. Like, people don't put their houses up for second mortgages to go get a bag of weed.
Absolutely
people don't
not,
suck dick for marijuana.
You sure?
Bob Saget. I suck dick from... Classic.
What Bob Saget say?
In Half Baked, where he's at the Narcotics Anonymous meeting, he's like, I suck dick for marijuana. I seen him. That scene cracks me up every time. But like, I don't know, I feel like gambling they both can be addictive, yes, but I feel like people risk more and are willing to like go to more of a rock bottom spot in life over gambling than they do over weed.
Gambling ruins lives all the time. Gambling is geared to make you lose. That's literally what it is.
Well, it depends.
Look at the freaking math.
What are you gambling on? Are you gambling on stocks? Are you gambling on other people in a poker game? Or are you like just gambling on a game that somebody created an algorithm for?
That does not matter.
It does. If you're playing against money. Well, yeah, no shit. Or, I mean, chips or whatever. But I feel like if you're playing against other people, that kind of changes the dynamic of it. Versus sitting there and putting quarters into a slot machine that has a preset fucking algorithm that is designed from the ground up to like make the house always win. But if you can like beat the other people, the other humans in the equation, then I think you'll have a better chance than just playing the numbers long game on a slot machine or something. Because you're playing against people.
People get sucked up in that shit though. That's like an addiction, like straight up.
Kool-Aid's guy says if you suck dick for marijuana, you just really like sucking dick. That is true. Baby. Big facts coming in. Congrats on the last giveaway win, by the way. I don't think he was in the chat when we announced the name, but yeah, congrats.
No, I don't think
hope you're
was.
enjoying the cap set.
Have you gotten it yet?
Yeah, you should have. That shit went out that day, baby. You know how we ship.
Yeah, I know how
that shit went out.
Works.
That shit went out the second that name was. I was like, "What's the address?" As soon as I had the address, it went out.
What's the address? The Zach Brown is amazing.
Hell yeah.
Vint loves his Chappelle.
Hell yeah.
We were talking about that before. I want a Chappelle myself. How do you got any in stock right now?
Oh yeah, got several. We'll chat after the show.
Yeah.
So before like medical and everything, and even during medical, like I would say probably before recreational became a thing, I would say that more Americans would have said that weed is worse than gambling, just because of that stigma, that reefer madness. Like it's hard for some people to like get over that kind of shit still. But now 2020. And it seems like, at least according to this says 7 out of 10. So 70% of Americans believe that smoking weed is morally acceptable. And this represents a small jump from a previous poll that found 2/3 of people support making weed legal in the country. So I think we're definitely getting close to like that shift, enough of a shift to where federally they've had enough time to get whatever patents they want and to like make sure that they're still making money as the federal government. but I think we're definitely getting close to like being.
You're gonna tax the shit out of us. We get it.
Oh yeah.
Just fucking do it.
What's that? 40%? As long as I'm not going to jail for it, sure, whatever. Like, I guess. How much is it worth to not be a criminal? Like, what is that number for you? Is it 30%? For me, $50. That's it.
$50.
It says the poll captures American views on 21 different issues considered controversial now or at some point in the past. Other actions considered morally acceptable on par with smoking weed were birth control, gambling, sex before marriage, and divorce.
What?
They got like the whole swath in there. Like it started with a joint and then birth control and then you gambled. Gambled on the sex before marriage and it ended with divorce. We're okay with all those things.
Is this from a Christian site?
It's from Benzinga. I don't know what
Is Benzinga Christian?
I have no idea.
Sorry for all you Christians out there.
I am sorry for them also. While cannabis may be firmly entrenched in the mainstream, there are ideas still considered taboo by many Americans. Issues that people more view as morally wrong than morally acceptable include abortion, pornography, and polygamy. So,
how is weed on the same board as all of those? Like, are you
as
joking?
Birth control and gambling and sex before marriage, I would say
abortion.
They all
Why
share
is sex before marriage on there.
They are all things that are dope. Birth control, fucking dope. Gambling,
fucking awesome.
Gambling is pretty dope. Sex
fucking
before
awesome.
marriage, super dope, right? Divorce, I mean, if she's a bitch, that's pretty dope. Divorce is pretty dope. I'm just saying. I've never been married, really, but like those things are all dope. So
I was wondering when it was coming, but it only took to the end of the show. The opinions expressed in this Discord are not those on Discord.
Sure, they are. We can all agree these things are dope, right?
Oh shit!
Right? Come on, smoking weed, gambling. All right. Is that it? Was there?
Talk about California.
Yeah, we got a little time. We could do that. So this is kind of interesting, though? And I wouldn't be surprised if more legal states. So just because a state has rec weed doesn't necessarily mean that like all the cities and municipalities will allow weed. Some of them will say, no, that's not happening. We saw this a lot in Washington, close to the Idaho border. Some of those towns kind of shared with Idaho's mindset that like, yo, weed's the devil still, not in our town. And so they impose these big moratoriums and stuff and not allowing weed in. But then also by doing that, they're cutting off themselves from all of this extra revenue that weed could be bringing to their little towns or whatever. So this is out of California, but they're talking about how some of these cities that said even though the voters legalized weed there 4 years ago, there's still some places that are like not into having weed there. And because of all of the issues with the virus and how that's just like really negatively affected these economies, some of these towns are starting to be like, you know what? Maybe we were wrong. We're not even wrong. We were right. But we want to...
we want the money, though.
We want the money. We want that sweet, sweet weed money. And I think, and I know it'll never happen, but I think it would be cool if the people were like, you know what? Fuck you. I go 3 towns over to get my weed, and I will continue to do so because fuck you. You didn't. 4 years of this? My friends just right down the road in the next county are having legal weed parties and shit, and I'm over here trying to find a goddamn legit seller on the fucking dark web? Like, fuck you.
Yep.
You don't get these tax monies now. No way.
You don't get these tax monies. That's funny.
But of course that won't happen. People will be like, "Oh,
right.
Please, just make it legal," which is
that
good.
That is how it is around here. Actually, it's
You have some moratoriums in some spots.
Yeah, I'll be 100% honest. I don't know what that is.
Like where they say you can't do this here. We put a moratorium on selling weed in town or whatever.
Yes. They only have certain counties. It's like pretty much south of 8 Mile and like Flint. It's pretty much Detroit and Flint are the only two places you can actually go and have a dispensary that has a shop front. Otherwise, it's only delivery, and delivery they're trying to get rid of.
Right. Because you can deliver into those towns as long as the store itself is not in those towns. Like, that's so weird. I mean, it's cool.
Well, I mean, they think of it this way. There are some people who can't really go out too easily, who can't make it out and buy their stuff. So they need somebody to deliver it to their door, and they need their medication.
Yep.
And that's the service that my work provides.
Would you say you deliver to more people that really need it versus more just like people like me that are just like trying to get a buzz on?
Absolutely. Actually, there are quite a few people who like you can actually like really tell like this helps them, and like there's even people who've stopped me before and they're like, no, really, like thank you, like you don't know how much this helps me.
Let me get a little bit of that for my cataract.
I got this cataract. It's real bad.
Fucking was that the Reverend in Friday? It's been a minute since I see that. I feel like they're smoking. He walks over. It's like, let me get a little hit of that. Yeah, it's so good. Oh yeah, well that's cool. I mean, they say in the article that like some of the people are still gonna have that quote unquote not in my backyard mentality when it comes to like weed and shit, but she says overall, like if a person can't find a job or their kids can't find work or their jurisdiction can't raise enough funds to cover basic social services, then people will adjust, of course.
Yes, they will. People will adjust and live.
Well adjusted.
Well adjusted. Adjust the angle of the dangle. Get that flat earth just right to the asteroid.
Vinter says, my backyard neighbor is literally the former sheriff. Not in my backyard. Hell yeah. You get that out of here. All right. Well, cool. I think that's going to do it for us. Thanks for listening and for participating in the chat, everyone. Always a pleasure. Grand, thank you. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, Matt. Absolutely.
Hotbox.earth, check it out. That's where all the links are to all the stuff. You can find the Dabs Discord. There's a link in the Dabs subreddit, and there's also links on the website, hotbox.earth. Make sure you're subscribed in the YouTube and the iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. We're up on all those spots, Spotify, Stitcher. So however you like to listen, we're there.
Let's see if we can get up to 500 subscribers on YouTube.
I didn't throw any of the specific boosters. We can shout out some boosters though. I'll shout you out.
Absolutely shout out those boosters.
I'm shouting you out. You boosted.
You're gonna shout me out. I am a booster. You know who else is a booster? Is you, Mr. Matt.
Nice. Shout me out. Shout Milk Mother out. She's a booster.
Eastern Dank, who's in the chat. Shout you out, buddy.
Shouting out.
Ace of Spades, who's top out.
Yeah.
Diamond, Dr. Zodiac, Swagrat, Terp and Derp, and Vic.
Terp and Derp. That's an awesome name.
Terp and Derp.
Hell yeah. Well, thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll catch you next Saturday.
See you guys next Saturday. And look out for the VIPs. You're going to be getting more stuff about the giveaway before everybody else.
Nice.
See you guys.
Bye.